I am calling a truce. I am waving the white flag. That fight for now is over when it comes to calling to light some of the questionable drafts and some of the moves made during some off seasons. With some of these coaching changes, I'm going to believe that a change is coming. I am channeling my optimism when it comes to EDC and his draft board this year. I know that for the longest we have put defense to the forefront and think that this is a way to a championship. We've had top 10 defenses and the best defense in 2023, but I am here to tell you there is something else, and that is offense. Offense is the key to winning it all in 2025. We need to protect our quarterback. This is paramount. Not getting pushed around and controlling the game offensively is what we really need. For Lamar to do what he did in 2024 is just amazing. He had an average offensive line protecting him at best, but still he went on to have a career year, a historic year that most quarterbacks would only dream about. I know Ravens publication wants to say that it's one of the best in the league, but let's be honest, it's really not. But for Lamar to have gone on to have a historic season, an all-time great season, a season that no other quarterback in the league has had in the over 100-year history of the NFL. There could be more that can be done, in my personal opinion. So after 7 years of going through all of these same things each and every season, every off season, with my head hung low, talking about there's always next year, this is the season that I'm going to believe that EDC is going to switch up and change everything. I mean, even before the offseason truly began, the Ravens started making changes. They brought in a new linebackers coach. They let go of their pass game coordinator. They extended Todd Monken, and they poached the secondary coach from the Kansas City Chiefs, which have had an amazing backfield despite playing a lot of second and third year players over the last few years. Not to mention they brought back Chuck Pagano to help run this defense. So with all of these changes before the offseason truly began, this is giving me hope to believe EDC and this organization is going to try to turn things around and do something a little bit different that maybe we have not before. So Eric, the trust is going to be with you this off season. But we haven't seen eye to eye over the last 7 years, but I do believe this is the time to go all in. Yes, Philadelphia Eagles provided a blueprint on how to win a Super Bowl. But a lot of people are only looking at the defensive side of the ball in the pass rush. They're not looking at how Jalen Hurts has been protected. They're not looking at how he is not on, quite frankly, no disrespect to him, Lamar Jackson's level, but he has time in the pocket to make plays. He has guys up front that protect him in open holes. Not just for him, Saquon Barkley. You see Saquon, who is an outstanding back in his own right, went and had a career year behind this offensive line. So let's not just look at what happened defensively during the Super Bowl. Let's look at what the offense did. Do not forget, the Kansas City Chiefs had the number 4 defense in the NFL. They have all-world defensive tackle Chris Jones, who was nullified. I had forgot that he was even playing because this offensive line was so good. And I do think that one of their guards, their starting guard, was out and they had to shift some people around. So even their backups come in and perform. They just have stability throughout this organization on the offensive and defensive lines. So EDC, I know you see this. I know you're watching. I know you're scanning everything. You're getting your board ready. You went to the Senior Bowl. You scouted some players. Please, for the love of everything holy, please do not go into this draft and bring in a safety in the first round, in the first 2 or 3 rounds. I understand it's a need. I understand you want to deploy Kyle Hamilton, but let's not do that. But for right now, I have faith in you that you see what the problem is. You said last year that next season the offensive line was going to be a strength. Hopefully you meant through free agency in the draft that you were going to build things up and it was going to be a lot better. This was an experimental year. Didn't work out. Let's not try this again. We've experimented with the wide receivers. We just experimented with the offensive line. It wasn't as bad as many of us or myself thought that it was actually going to be, but we can do better. And I'm tasking you. Listen, stand up, tell John, sit down. I don't want to hear about your picks. I'm going to build this team to win a Super Bowl. It has been long enough. This fan base has waited too long for another Lombardi trophy. Philadelphia has been to 3 Super Bowls and won 2. They are playing more like a Raven than the actual Ravens are. They create turnovers. They protect the quarterback. They do everything that we say that we are about. So EDC, I'm having faith in you, brother. I'm believing you are going to get it done. Please do not let me down. I cannot take an 8th year of going to the playoffs and doing the same thing, regressing, maybe going out during the wild card round. So, just like always, I am here to help. Let this video, if Eric, you decide to watch this, be a reminder of what we've done in the past, just so we don't repeat these same things in the future. We have a free agent that flamed out and was not worth anywhere near the money that was given to him. We have a kicker that we don't know what we're going to do with, waiting on litigation, waiting on his legal team to prepare a defense for him, not knowing if he's innocent or he's guilty. And we have draft busts that we had high projections for that just didn't round out to form. So let's learn from these mistakes. Now, the Justin Tucker thing, no one could have saw that coming, but let's learn from the things that we've done wrong and do better. Where do we go from here? And the only one that can really answer this question is you, Eric. Please, I'm begging you. Let's lead this team in the right direction. Let's take our greatest asset, which is Lamar Jackson, and build around him. Give him these pieces, give him these options. Stop saying he's enough, he's okay, he's going to be good in 2 years. We've been doing the he's going to be for too long. Go out and get some pieces offensively that's going to get this job done. So like I said, I'm here to remind you, just in case so we don't repeat the same thing once again. Since 2019, since you have become the general manager of this team, you've had 63 draft picks. 63. That's a lot of picks over the last 7 seasons. Well, it will be once you pick these 11 picks, which hopefully, once again, things are changing. You're not going to use all 11. 63 picks is way too many picks not to have a team that is vying for a Super Bowl. And getting to the playoffs is not vying for a Super Bowl. AFC Championship games, getting to a Super Bowl, that's vying for a title. So let's package some of them things up, roll them out, and bring in some guys that can actually help us win. Because if we look back, so many times we have just missed the mark on some players, some key acquisitions that could have helped this team get over the hump. Starting in 2019, drafted Hollywood Brown. I love Hollywood Brown. He was your best pick. Instead, we could have gotten AJ Brown, who is a dog. I know people don't like his attitude, but hey, Zay Flowers has tantrums. He does things sometimes. I want that guy. Your worst pick, Iman Marshall. Don't know what happened to him. Hope he's living a good life. In 2020, your best pick was Nnamdi Madubuike. Your worst pick, Tyree Phillips. 3rd round pick. That's a high draft pick to be wasted on a guy that literally did nothing. Also, if we look back at it, 1st round pick, Patrick Queen. To me, that should have been T. Higgins. Now, if we'd got AJ Brown, it would have been necessary. But for me, T. Higgins was a need. We needed a wide receiver in 2020. Didn't need a pseudo middle linebacker. And also, conversely, if you would have just re-signed CJ Mosley, who went on to have some all-pro seasons and does the thing that we really don't do with our linebackers, is gets turnovers. He causes fumbles. He gets interceptions. If we'd have just re-signed him, we could have used that pick on T. Higgins. Now, this offense looks marketably different direction, but did what we did. In 2021, best pick, Rashad Bateman. Worst pick, could have been a tie. Some people are going to say Sean Wade because he never amounted to anything. He didn't make it out of training camp, hasn't done much in the NFL. I say it's him and a tie between Ben Mason. Who picks a fullback in the 5th round, especially after you just paid your fullback? So now you have 2 fullbacks on the team. You wasted a pick on somebody that could have gone to something else, but I digress. Also, 2nd first-round pick, we took Odafe Owe. And yes, he has progressed. He's gotten much better. Double-digit sacks. I think that he's going to probably break out in year 5. But if we hadn't traded Orlando Brown Jr. and our high 2nd-round pick, we could have drafted Creed Humphrey, all-pro Creed Humphrey. So that changes up the offensive line a little bit. And we keep Orlando Brown Jr. for an extra season. So guess what? We had that backup to Ronnie Stanley and him not being available. We dole out Alejandro Villanueva, marketably changes the team once again. Then in 2022, you did your thing. You brought us Kyle Hamilton and Tyler Linderbaum. Knocked it out of the park. Sprinkle in a couple of decent guys here and there, but you totally missed, which general managers seem to do, but the David Ajabo, that pick, that one right there confounded me like no other. Like, I did not understand what the purpose of that was. And a lot of people are going to say, man, we could have had George Pickens. And a lot of people still do say we could have had George Pickens. But to me, we could have taken James Cook. Look at what he's done. Not only do we have a running back, we take one from Buffalo. But you can't hit on each and every pick. I understand that, especially with having another 11 picks during that draft. I don't know why you thought you were going to get 11 guys that were going to actually stay and be on this team, but I digress. I have faith. For 2025, I'm going to keep the faith. Then in 2023, you brought in Zay Flowers. Shout out to the first drafted Pro Bowl wide receiver in Baltimore Ravens history. Took long enough, but you did it. Worst pick from this draft, Caillou Blue Kelly. Ugh. And the Trenton Simpson thing isn't looking out. Tried to say, don't expect too much out of him. He's young. He's manning a new position. Be patient. But no, everybody's like, oh no, great game. He's going to replace Patrick Queen. We could have taken Tank Bigsby. But all of this is hindsight. You know, hindsight being 2020. It's after the fact. You don't know what draft picks you're going to hit on. But with having all of these draft picks, we should have more guys that are contributing to this team today. Then in 2024, we come in, and the best draft pick that you had was, to me, Roger Rosengarten. Hold it down on the right-hand side. Don't know if going forward we're going to need him to man the left, but he was the best draft pick. Worst draft pick was Adisa Isaac. He's done literally nothing this season. And people are going to say, well, it's only 1 year. It is, but we right now are in a Super Bowl window. We honestly don't have time to develop high draft picks. Some of the other guys I truly understand. But when you're drafting that high, you want to have somebody that's going to make an impact. I don't mean they have to be superstars. I don't mean they have to be running out here making Pro Bowls or being player of the week. I just mean someone that is actually contributing to the team, because otherwise, why did you spend those draft picks? The Ravens could have taken Jerry Jones, cornerback out of Florida State. You already know. Therefore, we don't need TJ Tampa, who was another guy who supplied nothing to this team. And I know people are going to jump in the comments and say, well, he was a rookie. Next season, he's going to contribute. We just don't know if he is. And it's amazing how when these guys get drafted, oh, man, that is just great value. They're going to come in here. It's a great pick. They're going to make a difference. And then when they don't, it's always, he's just a rookie. Give him time. I would love to give them time. But the way that this team is set up, we don't have the time, because we draft people for the future, and that future never comes. So hopefully, 2025 is going to be a lot different. I already foresee EDC packaging some of these picks and moving up in the draft and getting impact players. Not just guys that are rotational players, not guys that are going to be on special teams, not guys that are projects that we have to wait 3 years for to see any type of return on investment on. That is the thing that gets me. Yeah, some of these guys do develop and become solid players in the NFL, but it takes them to their third and fourth year. And by that time, they're leaving Baltimore. And that doesn't help us win a Super Bowl now. So EDC, I am putting my faith in you this season that you are going to get things done. You're going to do right by Lamar Jackson and give him the protection and the weapons that he needs to go out and win a Super Bowl. Because when this team does not make it to a Super Bowl, when we fall short, we'll never hear, well, the defense didn't do this and the defense could have did that. It's always going to be, well, Lamar didn't. Lamar doesn't. When is Lamar? That's all we're going to hear. So please, if you're going to let him be the scapegoat for everything that is wrong with this organization, at least give him the weapons to do so.
Nah, man, I'm cool.